Well, welcome. How often have you started your day out? You're looking at your futures chart, and let's say the S&P futures, and Globex, meaning that what happened in the overnight market. As you know, futures trading can happen 23 out of 24 hours, and you get up in the morning, you look at your chart, and the S&P is up 40, 50 points. You're like, well, now what do I do? How am I going to play this? Is it going to continue up? Is it going to go down? You kind of like, okay, get a little bit at a loss, are you? I know I used to be until I discovered this strategy. And I'm not going to take full credit for it. I was taught this strategy a number of years ago, and I always have this in my toolkit. Let me tell you, it is great for a lot of different reasons. Like I said, if you open the market up in the morning and it's either down considerably or up considerably, and you're just a little bit perplexed, let's say. So I wanted to share it. We're going to go over two days, consecutive days on the S&P, and I want to share this strategy with you. It's a 15-minute open candle strategy. See what the market opens, and this is the New York Exchange, opens at 8:30 in the morning. So we take that first candle from 8:30 to 8:45, and that's our positioning for the day, and that's what we're looking at. And this will tell us what's the momentum of the day. Do we get long or do we go short? What's the primary direction of the day? How is it going to play out? So anyway, let's get to a chart. I want to show you exactly step by step how you will do this. First of all, you're going to open your chart and you will mark what the Globex high or the overnight high and what the overnight low was. Now, in this particular day, there's considerably variance of about 50 points from the Globex low here, 57.80, to the Globex high, 58.30. Actually, that also hit that was the S&P all-time high of 58.30 in the overnight hours. So then, in the morning, you mark out your first 15-minute candle. Right here, I have that indicated here with the arrows, and that's what we're going to be watching. Now, even though the S&P was up, it opened up about 58.23, so about 40 points. Well, what happened though? Look at this first 15-minute candle. It immediately started to fall, right? And it kept falling and falling throughout that first 15-minute candle. Then there wasn't much activity. It wasn't like it was a short range and a lot of indecision or a doji. That was definitely a bearish, very strong bearish candle, as well as our RSI, which I watch down here is my indicator. It was very, very low. So what we're watching for then is which kind of retracement are we going to have? Are we going to have a strong retracement back up? What is it going to do? So this is where you want to see where the closest, when you're going to look left, and we're going to see, well, what could be stopping it? What was stopping it here at the first 15 minutes? It did go back up a little bit at the next, but there was some buying here, but there was not a strong level. It just kept inching its way up overnight, right? And then it kind of hesitated here a little bit further, but there wasn't a big extended range candle that I would have thought, what I would have looked at for, that would indicate, well, there's definitely going to be some resistance there. Now, right in this area, as you see here, there was some indecision, like a stoppage kind of in the trading, and it did stop here. What we're looking for on the first 15-minute candle again is then we want to see if it's going to either close below that first 15-minute candle or extend up and beyond it. So oftentimes it'll go down, it'll test that low, and then it'll go up and it'll go past the high. So that's what we're watching for. Now on that next candle, it didn't close below. It's still closed within here. Now you also, oftentimes I will put even a Fibonacci retracement on that first candle to see how far it extended to. In this case, I had done that, but I didn't include that here in the chart. There's a lot you can put too much on your chart, let me tell you. But this did retrace to about the 0.618 level, which is a very strong indication on the Fibonacci chart. And then we did have that close below. So that's where I would have gotten in. Now you can take that down to even like a 5-minute chart, so you can really see that momentum change, and there's the closing below, and that you can often certainly do that. Otherwise, as far as your stop loss, you would still want to have your stop, because you need some wiggle room here on those first, as you know, there's a lot of volatility typically within that first hour or so of trading. So I understand, you certainly have to have risk management involved, but to use this strategy, you want to give that, like I said, some wiggle room. And on this one, you didn't see any reason that it would have gone back up. There was no strong momentum to the upside. And then we had, like I said, we had the close here below that first 15-minute candle, and then you would continue. Look at that. It just kept going down. So you would have had a really positive day profit-wise if you would have gone short on this based on that strategy, the first 15-minute candle strategy. And then I also wanted to share with you, look at here. This candle pattern, it's an inverted hammer, and it oftentimes it will go down and test those Globex lows or the Globex high, depending on the momentum of the day. And in this case, it certainly did. It came down and just below that Globex low, and there was a lot of strong buying pressure to retrace that. We had a nice hammer, like I said, an inverted hammer here, and then we had a move back up. Now, you certainly could have then, certainly gotten out of your short trade by that time, and you would have then been able to get into a long based on that, but based on this pattern here. And then this was our close right about here at 3 p.m. So you can see it never got even back up to that first 15-minute candle range. So I just wanted to show you that even though the market has a lot of reaction overnight, that doesn't mean you don't have plays in the morning when you use this strategy. It is really can be a dynamic strategy for you. Now let's look at this is kind of the next day in the S&P. Here I marked the Globex low, 57.90. Globex high, 58.17, and here's our first 15-minute candle open. Now this day we did have a lot of bearish pressure on that first 15-minute candle, but then look what happened. We had a reversal here, and then we had another strong candle. It's still playing within that first 15-minute candle though, so I wouldn't be jumping in very, very quickly on that. Now here we did have our close above that first 15-minute candle, right? But look over to the left. Look at that strong bearish candle. And we would kind of, if familiar with your chart patterns, you can see that there would have been some resistance there. So you want to keep that in mind. You certainly would have had been able to make a quick profit here if you would have gotten in, but then it came back and reversed. Now you would have gotten out certainly at that point, but then you watch it as it continues down. It goes past beyond your first 15-minute candle. Look at all the bearish candles here. And if you had closed below that, you certainly could have gotten in short. Now, this I wanted to show you here, another inverted hammer. And look at this. If you go back, look to the left, look at that strong dip here, and it tested in that area as well again. So then we could have gotten back in again if you would have gone then to a 5-minute candle and watch the continuous closings of a 5-minute candle within that, and to show you the momentum definitely had changed for a short period of time, but then it could never even get back up again to that first 15-minute candle. Now on this particular day, the S&P opened up about 7 points, but it ended up down about 13 points. So, there's so much volatility in every day right now in the market, but this strategy, it will work every day, whether the momentum is continuing to go up or going down. You just have to watch it. You have to have risk management. Like I said, go down to your 5-minute chart. Look left. See what's gonna prevent it from either going higher or lower. So this one, like I said, I always look at it every single day. It works very well with all of the major indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. So keep that in mind and use it. Track what happens with it. Try it on your simulated trade if you want to kind of take a log and track to see how you do in it. Don't just jump in. Give it some good thought and trade with traction, not distraction. I hope you enjoyed this. Please put some comments below. If you have any further questions on this strategy, please let me know, and I will be happy to give you an explanation. Also, the 15-minute candle, like I said, works really well on the major indexes. It also works well on oil. Now, oil always opens up at 8 o'clock in the morning at central time. So this strategy you can also use on your oil. So please feel free. Use it, watch it, and see if that's something that would work for you as well. And I know it will. Thank you so very much. Take good care.